Cy Young, the most dominant pitcher in the game.
Give me the ball. It is win day.
Top of the heat, king of the hill.
We have no idea who is going to win.
I put that work in, now watch me work. I put that work in, now watch me work. I put that work in, now watch me work. I ain't talking 9 to 5, talking all the time. Yeah.
Seth Lugo, masterful.
You go, we go, Lugo.
The best closer in the game.
When you get it to the 9th inning, done deal.
Tarik Skubal is dialed in.
Absolutely disgusting.
He buried him.
Brilliant again for Zach Wheeler. Swing and a miss. Wheeler mowing him down.
Paul Skeens.
The hype around him has swept the country.
How do you like this show?
Chris Sale, the gym tonight.
He's back. It's the second coming of Randy Johnson.
I put that work in, now watch me work. I ain't talking 9 to 5, talking all the time.
And welcome everyone to the 2024 BBWAA Cy Young Awards Show. In Studio 21, we're live. It's Greg Amsinger, former All-Star Ryan Dempster, and the 2007 National League Cy Young Award winner, Jake Peavy. Good to see you, Jake. This is a big show. What was the show like for you in 2007, bud?
You know what, Greg? There was no show. I was just talking to some people today and got a call on a golf course in Cabo on the Nike trip. I'll give some Nike some big props, but there wasn't no show. There wasn't.
You got a phone call on a golf cart?
There was actually some big news around some other superstars that kind of overshadowed the whole moment. So, yeah.
Well, maybe you can share in the moment tonight.
I'm going to.
It's good to have you here, Jake. And I love that you're former All-Star starter, but you had 3 seasons of 24 or more saves. We have a Cy Young show with a reliever involved coming up later in the broadcast. But to have your insight, I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's so special to see a guy who had arguably one of the best seasons ever as a closer, and to see him now on this stage where he's being honored in the top 3 finalists for the Cy Young. It just shows the value that he had throughout the course of the season. This guy was dominant from start to finish, and he's being recognized for that tonight.
All you AL fans, that award's coming up a little later. You National League fans, get focused. Are you ready to see the finalists once again for your National League Cy Young Award? We're going to begin with Chris Sale. Alphabetical order now. First pitcher to win the NL pitching triple crown since Clayton Kershaw back in 2011. His 225 strikeouts, the most in a single season by a Braves lefty. 2.38 ERA, the lowest by a Brave since Greg Maddux had a 2.22 back in 1998. Chris Sale on the board. Paul Skeens, he just won the NL Rookie of the Year for the Pittsburgh Pirates. The lowest ERA, 1.96 in Major League Baseball since making his big league debut on May 11th. Led all MLB starters with 100 pitches of over 100 miles an hour. Paul Skeens, an NL Cy Young finalist. And Zach Wheeler, the ace of the Philadelphia Phillies, led the National League in WHIP, opponent's OPS, second in ERA, wins, innings pitched, ERA plus, tied for second in strikeouts with 224. A terrific season for the right-hander who joins us now live on MLB Network, along with Paul Skeens and Chris Sale. Great to have all 3 of you. Congratulations on banner seasons. Zach, I want to begin with you. If you go back in time to 2020, when you signed that 5-year, $118 million deal, your first deal with the Philadelphia Phillies, could you have ever dreamt that what would come your way would have actually landed so beautifully? You've become one of the top 5 pitchers in all of baseball.
Oh, I mean, you have that plan in your head, but, with the past that's happened, injuries and that type of stuff, you just never know. It's baseball at the end of the day, and anything can happen. Injuries happen. So, I just kept my head down, just kept working, and just kept trying to get better.
I'll go with you, Chris Sale, left-hander. What went right? Big move to Atlanta last few years health-wise, but I heard you talk about, I want to treat every start the same. I want to go in this season with all the experience you have. What went right this year in Atlanta?
Well, I think obviously the biggest thing is health, right? I mean, I was healthy early in my career. I had, I was able to sustain some success and stay out on the field. Ran into, buzzsaw over the last, handful of years. Just couldn't stay healthy, couldn't stay on the field. And you're not doing anything when you're not on the field. So I would say the number one thing for me that was health for sure.
Hey, Paul, I'm curious, man. You've been on an unbelievable run here. The last 500 days have been incredible, from College World Series to Rookie of the Year, your debut, and now you're sitting here with these 2 other guys as a candidate for the Cy Young. How do you keep all this in perspective? Because, I mean, this is a lot coming at you, but this has just been an amazing run. How's this all feel, and how do you keep perspective of all this?
Yeah, it's funny because it's a kind of a long period of time, but it also flies by. So really just trying to stay present, you know, lean on my coaches, my family, all the people that are around me, and they make it a lot easier. So it's been a lot of fun and just, you know, ready to keep it going.
Zach, I'm curious too, as a former starting pitcher, that bond you have with your other guys in your rotation. You know, you got a couple young guys, and then you got a guy like Aaron Nola there. You guys bounce off each other. How much do you guys push each other throughout the course of the season? Because they're definitely pushing you, and I know you're a leader to them.
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, it's just coming into spring training every year. We kind of know, you know, the goal is 200 innings, 200 strikeouts, and we just try to reach that, and that's making, you know, the start every 5 days, going 6 or 7 innings. So that's our goal.
Paul, I'm going to ask you, you're talking about short period of time, or excuse me, long period of time, but it flies by. You were about 8, 9 years old when the guy, Chris Sale, was making his major league debut. I know you had to watch these two guys. Hey, easy now. We'll get to you. I know you had to watch these two guys a little bit growing up, and how surreal it must be now sitting as finalists along these two guys.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And one of the coolest things for me, I think, at the All-Star game was really just getting to, you know, sit in the dugout and BS with Chris. That was an unbelievable opportunity, unbelievable experience. It was really, really cool for me. So I hope Chris understands that. But I've watched both these guys. I think I model a lot of what I do after, to be honest, both of them. And so it's an honor for sure.
Chris, I've talked to you. You were a student of the game. What did a pitching triple crown mean to you? And was that something you were focused on during the season?
It's special, and I appreciate it because, you know, it wasn't me just rolling out there and throwing the baseball. There was a lot of people that got me here, you know, when teammates, family, training staff, man. I mean, for me to be able to go out there and do what I was able to do, I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. And it's just special, you know. The last few years were tough, and to be able to kind of go through what I went through and have the support I had, I'm just very, very thankful. Very thankful.
And by the way, you're a young 35. Okay, Chris, you're way young. Spry 35, all right?
He's looking better than ever, pal.
These gray hairs don't say that, but I'll take it.
Chris Sale, Paul Skeens, Zach Wheeler. Outstanding seasons. Don't go anywhere. One of you will be named the National League Cy Young Award winner. We come back. Let's have our guys, Ryan Dempster and Jake Peavy, break down these three aces. That's next. We come back live on MLB Network.
The most dominant pitcher in the game.
Chris Sale with a gem tonight. Brilliant again for Zach Wheeler.
The incredible Paul Skeens. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Called strike 3.
100 miles an hour.
It's like a bullet coming out of his hand.
Filthy pitch there. Another one.
Arguably the best pitcher in the game right now.
Big game hunter, man. Give me the ball. It is win day.
Your three finalists for the National League Cy Young Award: Chris Sale, the veteran who won the pitching triple crown; Paul Skeens, your NL Rookie of the Year at a sub-2 ERA; and Zach Wheeler, who's been one of the most consistent forces on any mound in the sport for the last 5 years. Back inside Studio 21, it's Greg with Jake Peavy, Ryan Dempster. Jake, this has to be like a moment for you. You're about to talk about a former teammate who you knew as a young buck in Chris Sale with the Chicago White Sox, who could be having that over-the-top Hall of Fame moment here tonight.
Yeah, you're exactly right. If he goes on to win this Cy Young, you're talking about on the Hall of Fame highway, to see him back out there healthy again this year, doing what we all know that he can do. Watching Chris grow up in Chicago, being around him, knowing the family, Alan, Brianne, special night for me. And like you said, hopefully for the family possibly. And look, I'm just going to show you Chris Sale and what you're getting. Atlanta saw this year what the world has seen in Boston and Chicago for years. Chris Sale was absolutely dominant. I believe Max Fried sitting alongside him had a big help. You need somebody pushing you. This is vintage Chris Sale, the slider to both righty and lefty, and the fastball down in the zone, located. Watch it ride up in the zone. Just no chance there. You got to change up. This one cuts, actually, which happens now and then they call this the sinker. But look, it comes down to these guys all have plus stuff. Can you execute? These guys are all the complete package, but Chris Sale is the complete package. You see herky-jerky motion, you think out of control? No, he is under control, executing. You see him right there, the best in Aaron Judge, not seeing this slider, but it's executed perfectly. We got to field our position, and my man won a Gold Glove this year. It's about time. Look at this. This is not fun being out there this close. The man makes all the plays, and I wanted to show you this right here. You show up, my boy, and you're going to pimp walks, you got one coming, because this guy's got some big attitude. He comes back and finishes. Look at this 3-2 pitch to finish the sixth. Get you some. The whole National League and American League got some, and it was, like you said, Greg, a pleasure for me as a fan of Chris Sale and his families to sit alongside and watch.
To watch him go a 4-year span where he just couldn't stay on the field, and he was battling injuries, for him to switch uniforms and remind us all that he's not just a Cy Young talent, he's a Hall of Fame talent. That's how special Chris Sale was this year. But in terms of pitching stories, I mean, can it get bigger in 2024 than the emergence of Paul Skeens, Ryan?
I think this is one of the greatest stories in baseball this season. I just think it's so special for a #1 overall pick to exceed expectations, at least from us. You know, maybe his own he hasn't, but from us, I think he did, because you maybe expect a hiccup or something to not quite be right. Everything he did since he showed up was incredible. And he showed up on this scene of 100-mile-an-hour fastball, right? We saw it out of the gate, hitting 101, 102. Paul Skeens was absolutely electric, just blowing away hitters. And we go through this early on. You're riding adrenaline. You're riding the ability to go out there and kick it up a notch when you need. Thank you, Shohei, for coming. There's 101. You're going to have to sit down. And the thing I love about Paul Skeens, look at this, through 8 starts, there's his average velocity, 99.3. Look at his next 10. And I know this seems simple, right? It's still 98, but his norm, it ticks down, right? So that's our norm as a pitcher. And you have to go, oh, man, I don't quite have that 100 or 101 in the tank. And you have to pitch, and he just knows how to pitch so much. And he still had a 2-3 with velocity dip. And this pitch right here, thank you very much for learning how to throw this, Paul Skeens. This pitch is filthy. He commands it. It's the bottom of the strike zone. It's the sinker, splinker, whatever you want to call it. And then, oh, okay, I'm going to turn it up for my last 5 starts. I'm going to crank it back up to 100 again and throw out a .75 in September. The thing about him is the ability to change speeds. It would be so easy to fall in love with, let me throw 100 every time and paint it, 2-seamer coming back over the middle. But he has that splinter that he's able to locate, and that heat map. Look at this. This is amazing. If you look at guys, there's no misses around. His heat map is exactly where he wants to throw it. He throws it down and into righties. He completely neutralizes them. We focus so much on changeups, splitters, you know, whatever that off-speed pitch is to lefties. Righty on righty, that's not fair. When you can do that with your off-speed pitch and you throw 101, there's no wonder why he's sitting there on that screen with those 2 other guys. He should be a finalist for the Cy Young, and this isn't going to be the last time we sit and
It's crazy, because, Jake, you were absolutely right when we started the segment. All 3 of these guys are the total package, and they all perfectly execute. But we have to remind ourselves, he's a rookie. And he's perfectly executing night in, night out.
Well, that's exactly what's been the difference maker. You can have all the stuff you want, but Ryan just alluded to it. When velocity dips, can you pitch the best of the best? And the guys on the screen not only have 3 great beards, they can all pitch.
I know you care about stats, and there's a certain stat that's right up Jake Peavy's alley, and that's the 6 or more innings, 2 runs or less. No one did that more in the sport than Zach Wheeler. He is the horse that every organization wants to build around.
Oh, absolutely. The pack mule, load the wagon. When it is Zach Wheeler day, it's win day. The bullpen knows what they're getting. And if we're starting a team and we're starting an organization and starting a pitching staff, this is my #1 guy in the league. Give me Zach Wheeler any day of the week, every day over anybody in the league. 4-seam fastball, he establishes that. It rides, it plays up in the zone. His length helps that, but he also has this different look. When you have two different fastball looks, you can get through lineups in different ways. Then you got the breaking balls off that, the sweeper, the curveball. He can backdoor it to the left-hander, and he's got the splitter as well. You see the different looks. Why you can pitch deep in the game is because you have different looks. But if you're going to have continued success night in, night out, it goes back to what I showed you with Sale. Can you throw the ball where the catcher's asking for it? This guy does it at a very, very high rate. The delivery's so easy. It just looks effortless. Gather himself, get the foot down, and explode. Can my man field his position? You bet you can. Watch him get over the throws out in front of him. Denver will tell you, athletes are the pitchers on the field. As good as anybody, infielders, outfielders, the pitchers. That plays extreme difficulty. He made it look easy. Again, the best and the best, they are the complete package. They are stuff. They are location. They understand pitch sequencing. They hold runners and field their position. This man does it as good as anybody.
He's an organization changer. As much as Bryce Harper has affected the Philadelphia Phillies, so has Zach Wheeler. He has made them a pitching powerhouse. No one thought that would ever be the case in that ballpark. That's how great Zach Wheeler's been. Will he win the National League Cy Young Award? We're moments away from finding out. When we come back, we'll be joined by a Hall of Famer that's got a few Cy Youngs on his shelf to make the big announcement live on MLB Network. Don't go anywhere. Who will take home the hardware? Chris Sale, Paul Skeens, or Zach Wheeler? We're moments away from finding out. But to help us with the announcement, we're bringing in a first ballot Hall of Famer. 23 seasons in the show. All he did was win 4 straight Cy Youngs. He won 355 career games. The greatest defensive player at that position, pitcher we've ever seen. The great, legendary Greg Maddux joins us live on MLB Network. Mad Dog, good to see you. Thank you so much for doing this. All right, so I'm listening to my cohorts here. Jake Peavy says he wouldn't have won the 07 Cy Young if you weren't his teammate. Ryan Dempster said that you shaved a whole run off his ERA. What kind of pitching philosophy, give me a snippet, that you bestowed on guys like this throughout your career?
Well, I just know it. As a young player, I had Rick Sutcliffe, I had Lee Smith that were kind of in my corner, kind of helping me out when I was a young player. And, you just pass it down. It's part of being a good teammate. And, you want to win. And in order to win, your teammates have to have success, and you do everything you can to help them. And, I had a lot of fun with Demp and Peeves. I mean, we had a lot of good times together on the bench. It wasn't always just talking about pitching. It was always just trying to entertain ourselves and enjoy baseball.
I can only imagine what those non-baseball conversations were like. I think I know a little bit about that. All right, as for what we're doing here today, it's about that time to find out the big announcement. Go ahead, Greg, take it away.
Okay, it's my pleasure to announce this year's NL Cy Young Award winner goes to Chris Sale, and I'm glad it's staying in Atlanta.
All right, Greg Maddux, thank you so much. There you see Chris Sale. He told us that he's got the family upstairs so we could have a little privacy in this moment. But this could be the Hall of Fame moment for this left-hander. What a career he's had. Look at the vote total. Zach Wheeler had 4 first-place votes. Total 198 voting points for Chris Sale compared to 130. Skeens finished 3rd. Dylan Cease 4th. And Shota Imanaga finished 5th, the Chicago Cubs. Paul Skeens 3rd, looking up to the 35-year-old superstar, Chris Sale, your 2024 National League Cy Young Award winner. Chris, congratulations from all of us here at MLB Network. What does this honor mean to you?
It means a lot. It's a special night, obviously, having Maddux announce it, being the Atlanta guy, and well, I guess my family just found out. And then, having a guy I looked up to and early in my career and having Peeve here, on the panel, it means a lot. So this is a special night.
Well, look, I'm going to say from all of your former teammates, your current teammates, everybody knows what kind of teammate you are. So from across Major League Baseball, your teammates are rejoicing. But I want you to talk about, you mentioned it earlier, you don't do this without so much help. Your family, I know what kind of support system they are. 35 years in, you understand the sacrifices you're making. Let's talk about the family, the three boys, and the coaches of why you're finally sitting here today. And congrats, Bubba. Couldn't be prouder.
Yeah, I mean, talk about motivation, right? You know, to be able to, you know, show my sons the hard work, dedication, and, you know, not giving up. You know, my wife having my back the whole time. You know, I'm sure I was a real peach at times during some of those injuries. So, you know, and just with my parents, my family. I was talking to my dad the other day about this, and whether it did or didn't happen, you know, he was proud of me. So. And again, you know, I mean, I can't speak enough about my guys I had in my corner this year. You know, being in Atlanta, that staff was unbelievable. You know, George and his staff in the training room kept me on the field. I said it earlier. It wasn't me just rolling out there. Had an unbelievable coaching staff, and I mean, I looked at the numbers, man. I gave up one unearned run this year, one. So that means my guys in the field were making unbelievable plays. It seemed like, you know, I'd go out there and pitch 2 or 3 innings. I'd have 5 runs on the board. So, and then you get to the bullpen. I mean, absolute lockdown. If they weren't the best in the league, I don't know who was. So, a lot goes into this, and again, like I just can't express how thankful I am for everybody that stuck by me. You know, it would have been easy to kind of jump ship and write me off, and I had a lot of people texting me through the tough times, and I'm thankful for them, and I'm happy to share this moment with them.
Chris, this is an amazing accomplishment. I look at the fact that everything you went through early on in your career where you were dominant, all-star game, top 5 Cy Young, and then you go through this period, and you mentioned at the tough times, battling injuries and all that kind of stuff, and now here you are as a 35-year-old winning this Cy Young Award. Talk about, or what can you tell us about what you learned about yourself over these past few years, getting through all that to sitting right here now as the NL Cy Young Award winner?
Well, I can tell you, I figured out I don't have it all figured out.
Nice.
And I'm glad it worked out this way, because, you know, I feel like I'm able to appreciate this moment more now. You know, when I was young, it just kind of came to me, and it you know, I was able to go out there and perform and have success. You know, you kind of figure out what the deal is when you go through a tough time like that, and just leaning on people, man. I mean, I can't stress enough about everybody that helped me get here, and I'm just very, very thankful for them. And then, you know, honestly, just being able to, you know, go down to Atlanta and feel comfortable. I mean, that clubhouse was one of the easiest clubhouses to walk into and feel comfortable. And, you know, I felt like I kind of fit right in. And, again, like I said, my teammates, man, I mean, shoot, I had 3 catchers back there behind the plate for me the whole year. I mean, Trumpy got me out of the gate, and, you know, I wasn't that great. I wasn't as crisp as I was when I got to kind of midsummer. So back there figuring it out, you know, I don't have this pitch, I don't have that pitch, and got me out of the gate really well. And then it was, you know, Travie for you know, a little bit after that, and then when Murph got back after his oblique, just guided me through these games, man. Again, I've said it a lot. I don't game plan. I don't watch video. I don't do scouting reports. That's all on them. And again, there were days where it was 2 pitches for a little bit, and they're having to navigate through these lineups. And obviously I can't thank them enough.
Chris, I was on the set the night of the MLB draft when you were drafted in the first round by the Chicago White Sox. I've covered your entire career. It's an honor to be here on the air tonight when you win your first Cy Young at the age of 35. Congratulations, okay?
Now go act like we did right after that draft, buddy.
Congratulations, Chris. Enjoy it with your family, okay?
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
There you have Chris Sale. Take a look at this. The oldest first-time winners. He's on the board. Early win was almost 40 in 1959 when he did it. Eck, 38 in 92. R.A. Dickey also part of the process. It's too bad the family was upstairs, but we heard them scream. We did hear them scream the moment Chris Sale was announced as your 2024 National League Cy Young Award winner. We're going to go to the AL side next.
The top 3 candidates for AL Cy Young.
How many pitches does Lugo have? A million?
He has been almost unhittable.
Swung on and missed, strike 3.
You get it to the 9th inning, done deal.
Bogey!
Clase locks it down.
Right now in Major League Baseball, we have a new Tiger King. Tarik Skubal owns this mound.
He is something else.
Your 3 finalists for the American League Cy Young Award. It's Seth Lugo, it's Tarik Skubal, and Emmanuel Clase. Greg Amsinger, Jake Peavy, and Ryan Dempster. Demp, an all-star starter, had 3 years of 24 or more saves as a closer during his career. So let's talk about a reliever as a Cy Young finalist. Are you cool with it? And do you think Emmanuel Clase is as legit as we've ever seen as a reliever in the Cy Young mix?
Yeah, I'm cool with it because if you have a season like he just had,
right.
then you're darn right you should be on this board right now. And I think what he did this year was a top 5 season in the history of closers in baseball.
Wow.
I think he was absolutely dominant. And I look at what he's able to do. There's not a lot of 2-0 counts with Emmanuel Clase. If it's 1-0, it's commanding a fastball. And his ability to command the inside. Look at this, is a 101-mile-an-hour cutter on the inside part of the plate. It's absolutely ridiculous. So when you do that and you are throwing that pitch and commanding that to right-handers, you don't even have to throw a plus slider. You can get away with middle sliders because they are so geared up inside. And so all he has to do is throw a little bit of a wrinkle. That slider that's 92, 93 has the cut action. And who else has a really good cutter or had one? Mariano Rivera. And I'm saying that when it's all said and done, that he's going to push Mariano Rivera's record. He's going to be chasing that record down. This is a guy who you said, Greg, wants it. He wants it so bad. He wants to be the greatest closer of all time. He wants to be as good as Mariano. And this guy owns this moment. His ability to control the heartbeat. He gave up 5 runs in the regular season all season. That's it. 5. It's absolutely incredible what he did. He was dominant from start to finish. And if you think about it like this, think about their bullpen, how good they were in Cleveland, okay? All of their relievers. So they were all nasty, and he was nasty. Like normally it's like, oh man, I don't have to face that nasty reliever. And finally this guy comes in and he just locked the door down every time. He had an unbelievable season, one for the ages.
They talk about how an ace leads by example and the rest of the rotation feeds off that. He was the ace of that great bullpen of the Guardians, and they all fed off Emmanuel Clase. If there is a Cinderella Cy Young story, it is Seth Lugo. When he was drafted, it was like 1,032 or 34, 35. We've never seen a player drafted since the draft started so far away from number 1 be a top 3 Cy Young finalist. Seth Lugo. What do you think of him?
Well, you're exactly right. What a great story going from a 34th round draft pick into a Cy Young Award finalist after years in the big leagues. You know, as a 15th rounder, I feel a lot of this of where Seth comes from, but he's a complete pitcher in a lot of ways, and he had to beg for years to start. He's finally got his opportunity in San Diego and has came over to Kansas City. Watch the 9 pitches. There's 9 pitches this guy claims to throw. Different shape, different size, different look per at bat, and the consistency. You have to. I don't know about these bullpen sessions. Like, how do you work on 9 pitches? You know what I mean? Like, that seems taxing. But you see here, nobody knows what's coming in any given moment, in any given count. And just as the other guys go, Seth doesn't have the overpowering swing and miss stuff. So execution and living on the edge and just off the edge is even of the utmost importance for him. And you see right here, he does it as good as anybody in the game. You're not going to see many balls against Seth Lugo in the middle of that box. He's playing on the edges and off the edges all night long. Fastball is around the mid-90s. There's all kind of breaking balls in the mix, and he can fill his position too. These guys, again, you're seeing complete pitchers falling to the right side, getting back, making it what seems to be an easy throw. These guys are all the complete package. Seth Lugo truly on the scene. What a Cinderella story. We'll see how it plays out here tonight.
He was the free agent signing in 2020.
Well, look, in all of these guys, we talked about Zach Wheeler having Nola and Sale having Max Fried. He had Cole Reagans, who's going to finish in the top 5. Michael Walker. They all have stable mates that they feed off of. Look, I think back to 2007, I had that with Greg Maddux and also Chris Young.
But if we knew Seth Lugo was going to be a top 3 Cy Young finisher, we'd been like, how much money is he going to make? More than he got with the Royals. But kudos to the Kansas City Royals and congrats to Seth Lugo on a banner year. Okay, let's end with the heavy favorite. Let's just be honest. Tarik Skubal. Oh, my goodness. I've said this before. I've never seen in the big leagues where it looked like the all-state high school stud pitcher led his high school team to the state championship game. That's what Tarik Skubal looked like he was doing in the big leagues, Ryan Dempster.
Yeah, it was amazing, right? A.J. Hinch would go out there and for 4 other days try and figure out his bullpen, how it was going to work to win games. And then when Tarik showed up at the ballpark, he's like, okay, cool. I can take a seat on the bench and breathe for a little bit here. And this guy led this rotation. He was filthy. They always talk about trusting your stuff in the strike zone. Look at that ratio. 35 walks to 228 strikeouts. He throws his ball in the strike zone. It doesn't matter if it's a fastball or if it's a cutter or if it's a slider or if it's a changeup, which is unhittable 47% of the time. It's a swing and a miss. And then you're throwing upper 90s, 100 miles an hour when he needs it, and he pitches at the top of the zone as good as anybody in the game. Above the belt and above, get a ton of swing and misses. He doesn't waste pitches. He attacks you with 2 strikes. This guy had a breakout season. We've seen the progression come since he arrived in the big leagues. He's got better and better and better, and this year he put himself with those kind of numbers that wins the Triple Crown. The only thing he wasn't leading in is whip. I mean, what he did in the postseason. Jump on my back, boys, because every 5th day we're winning. That's what we do. That is a leader of a pitching staff
and the
right
pitching chaos doesn't work without somebody solidifying it as he did every 5th day. Then the other 4 days were go get him.
Tarik Skubal was special. Again, we've got 1 award already handed out, and that was to Chris Sale, your NL Cy Young Award winner. Who is taking home the hardware on the American League side? We will continue to set the stage for AL Cy Young when we come back. All right, we are back. Jack Flaherty with a great tweet. Let's all wish Scoobs a happy birthday. Nothing else important happening today. Can you believe it's Tarik Skubal's birthday? How crazy is that?
Yeah, I've had some cool birthdays, but not this cool.
Lottery.
And I've done some fun stuff on my birthdays. Not this fun.
That's right. Goodness, again, Tarik Skubal, one of the 3 finalists for your American League Cy Young Award. Tarik Skubal did it all for the Detroit Tigers and really tried to drag them through the month of October. Eventually ran out of gas, but he could do no more. He was the American League pitching Triple Crown winner. In case you're wondering, all those Triple Crown winners, they usually win the Cy Young. They do. Matter of fact, Emmanuel Clase, 3 consecutive seasons leading the American League in saves. That's incredible. 0.61 ERA, lowest since we saw Fernando Rodney with the Rays, posted 0.60 ERA. Emmanuel Clase with that crazy cutter, getting better every year. And Seth Lugo, who'd have thunk it? Seth Lugo, when he signed as a free agent with the Kansas City Royals, did they know that they were going to get an anchor in their rotation who would eventually be a finalist for this prestigious honor? No one thought and saw that coming. Seth Lugo, the former reliever, is legitimately the Cy Young Cinderella. We've never seen anyone drafted so far away from number 1. 1,032nd pick in 2011 to be a finalist for the Cy Young. To me, in an era where we're fixated, guys, on velo and spin. I know no one spins a curveball better than Seth Lugo. I totally get that. To see a guy, a veteran, be able to pitch and work and throw 9 different pitches, it's good for the game, right? This is what we want pitchers to think, not just blowing up a radar gun.
I like what you're talking about because it's all goes back to that when we say pitchability, we're talking about can somebody go out there and command the zone? Can they get different pitch shapes and sizes to move on deep in the game? I'm in love with starting pitching. How do you do that? You have to have multiple pitches and you have to execute. You don't have to have crazy swing and miss stuff.
No, and we see these wrist guards, the catcher flips open, it says 2-1, throw a breaking ball here. Well, guess what? You got to have a guy out on the mound who can execute that. Pitching will always forever be changing speeds and location. Doesn't matter how hard you throw. Guys can hit high velocity if it's in the middle of the plate. And Seth Lugo, as good as anybody in the game, changes speeds with different movements, different sides of the plate, and he locates all around the strike zone. And he figured it out later on in his career. He did starter, he did some relieving, he did some spot starting, and then he found himself a spot in Kansas City in that rotation and went out there and was the ace of their staff.
The veteran stuff and the reliever stuff, this guy got better with runners in scoring position, 212 average against with runners in scoring position. I believe the veteran experience and the stuff in the pen, the work in the pen, helped that as well. Get out of big jams.
A great story, Seth Lugo. We got to take another break. I know I sound like Ryan Seacrest here in American Idol, but we are getting closer to the big announcement. We're going to have a different Hall of Fame Cy Young Award winner to join us for the breaking news. Who will take home the AL Cy Young Award? That is next. Who will win the American League Cy Young Award? Will it be Emmanuel Clase of the Cleveland Guardians, Seth Lugo of the Kansas City Royals, or Tarik Skubal of the Detroit Tigers? To join us for the big announcement, Hall of Famer, our colleague. Yes, he won 3 Cy Youngs in his career. The great Pedro Martinez, a career record of 219 and 100. Think about that for a second. 219 and 100. Had 2 Cy Young seasons with a sub-2 ERA in the peak of the steroid era. And my friend, the great Pedro Martinez, joins us live on MLB Network. Pedro, people ask me to ask you this question all the time. Of your 3 great Cy Young seasons, which one is Pedro's favorite? So I'm going to ask you that right now.
I'll tell you what, Greg, thank you. Thank you for having me in this special day. But listen, either one of the 3 that you want to pick as your favorite could be the favorite. But I must say, so many things that came together with 99 have me leaning towards the 99 season because of the simple fact that I had the All-Star game, 17 strikeouts in Yankee Stadium, the greatest game ever pitched in the Red Sox, the relief game in Cleveland, all those things, and then becoming the Triple Crown for the Red Sox in that year and for the American League. I think I'm leaning towards the 1999 season that I had.
I love it. And no one can argue with you about your own career, Pedro. Okay, hey, we're so grateful that we have you here for this. Go ahead and give us the big news, okay?
Well, for the 2024, I couldn't ask for anybody better to represent me and be one of my favorites because this guy took it personal. And he wanted to take his team on his shoulder, just like I wanted to do every single day. Tarik Skubal is my Cy Young Award winner for 2024. Yeah! And I love this too. I love to see him play.
Oh, well done, Pedro. Thank you. And Tarik Skubal's family and friends celebrating the moment right now. Your American League Cy Young Award winner. Let's show you the voting breakdown. Tarik Skubal is unanimously your AL Cy Young. That's a big deal, is it not, Jake Peavy?
That is a big deal.
Absolutely. Jake knows he got all 30 first-place votes, and Tarik joins us now live on MLB Network. Tarik, before we talk about this great crowd that is surrounding you right now, what does this honor of being the AL Cy Young Award winner mean to you?
Yeah, it's pretty special. You know, all the hard work, all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, you know, moments like this make it extremely worth it. And to have the support system that I have and the people that are, you know, right behind me, you know, it means a lot to have those guys in my corner. So it means a lot.
Well, go ahead and give us some names, Tarik, of people sitting next to you. I know you don't do it without a support system. Just ask Chris Sale the same thing. You got your family, and then even extend that into some coaches who've gotten you to this point today.
Yeah, no, my wife, son, mother-in-law, father-in-law, Nana, probably the most important. College teammates, trainers, guys that have, you know, worked out with me, agent, you know, people that, you know, just, they mean a lot, you know, to me and make this game pretty simple. So that way when I go out there, it's just, I get to play baseball and enjoy it.
Hey, Tarik, one of your ex-teammates, Jack Flaherty, threw a nice little fun tweet today. And he said, happy birthday to you. We see the sign in the back, but not much going else on. Well, you certainly have some stuff going on today. Congratulations. Happy birthday to you. You mentioned everybody in that room. The guys that aren't in that room right now, your teammates, the run you guys went on this year. How special is this to share that with those guys as well?
Yeah, it was a ton of fun to be a part of. You know, the last 2 months of our season and even the postseason was very special. Obviously, you know, it comes to an end. There's only one happy team at the end of the year, but it was a ton of fun to be a part of, and it's, you know, the memories and obviously experience, you know, will help our club going forward. So it was really fun, and, you know, I'm glad that we got to experience that as a team, and especially as a young team too. It's only up from there.
I saw you having a lot of fun in the postseason. Me and Dimp know a little bit about celebrations, and I watched you get after it there. I got to ask you, look, I know Chris Sale and his family likes to have a good time. Who's going to have a better celebration? You guys or the Sales tonight? Who's going harder?
I don't know how they go about it, but I'm excited, you know, for, you know, when the cameras get shut off and we get to just enjoy the night. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. So I'll say yes because I know what we're going to do tonight.
That's great. But before we let you go, the Cy Young Award winners in both leagues are always like eternally attached to each other. You won your first Cy Young the same night. Chris Sale, who could be in the Hall of Fame, won his first Cy Young at the age of 35. As a fellow left-hander, how cool is that?
Yeah, it's really special. You know, Chris Sale's a guy that, when I was going to college and in high school, you idolize left-handed pitchers, and you know, kind of how he competes and goes about his business. It's pretty special to watch, and yeah, I think, you know, I met him at the All-Star game, and that was really, really cool. So to be able to share this moment with him is really special, something that I'll cherish the rest of my life.
That looks like a great birthday party, man. Happy birthday, Tarik Skubal, and happy Cy Young Award. It's got to be one of the best nights in your life. Congratulations again, okay?
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
There you have him. Tarik Skubal of the Detroit Tigers winning the American League Cy Young Award. And look at this, lefties to win both Cy Young Awards in the same year. Tarik and Chris joined Barry and Big Unit. Sparky Lyle and Steve Carlton did it back in 1977. For more context as to what we learned over the past hour, let's send it over to Jack O'Connell, the Secretary-Treasurer of the BBWAA. Jack, take it away.
Thanks, Greg. Our Cy Young Award winners, Chris Sale and Tarik Skubal, also won the Triple Crown of pitching in their respective leagues by leading in victories, earned run average, and strikeouts. This is only the second time Triple Crown winners also took home both Cy Young Awards in the same season, joining the 2011 coupling of Justin Verlander and Clayton Kershaw. This is the third straight year the American League winner was unanimous, with Skubal following Garrett Cole last year and Verlander in 2022. Sale's National League victory eclipsed his best finishes in the American League voting when he placed second in 2017 and third in 2014, both races won by Corey Kluber. Back to you, Greg.
Thank you very much, Jack. As I'm sitting here trying to wrap my mind around what we just saw, Chris Sale, Tarik Skubal, I feel like just the same feeling I had when I had an annual visit with Mike Trout for the MVP show and Clayton Kershaw for the Cy Young show. I feel like Paul Skeens and Tarik Skubal are going to be chatting with us 12 months from now, and then 12 months after that. This is going to be an annual thing with those
Paul
guys.
Skeens had 5-10 more starts. He's the winner tonight with what he did in his body of work. So you're exactly right. What a night. These young men just cemented themselves in history for forever. It's going to mean a whole lot more as they get down the line. But you're right, Skubal and
mainstays that are here to stay on
I think it's great, too, that the changing of the guard, right? The veteran guy wins one today towards the tail end of his career, but the future is bright with what we have in this league. Tremendous, tremendous stuff, and congratulations to both those guys.
It was cool to hear both Skeens and Skubal talk about Chris Sale that way.
Absolutely, and my heart's broken the second time for Zach Wheeler, too, because he's just deserving his.
Hey, but we're going to end on a high note. You're looking at your Cy Young Award winners. Thanks for watching.